Well, it's the final Wings Weekly of the regular season, folks. Jay Klein Connect here, and of course, head coach Steve Jennings as coach a split weekend here at the ODI Center. Unfortunately, a 2-1 loss on Friday. They scored early on, then I went on a power play, kind of had some momentum there to start things out. And you guys outshot Austin 37-23, but again, ends up being a loss. What were your thoughts on the matchup there Friday night?
I mean, frustrating, right? Because you want and expect more. It hurts giving up that early goal and coming out short. You know, we knew going in we needed to have points both nights to be able to, have the opportunity to have home ice, and to give that up was a little bit frustrating and disappointing. But overall, I think there was something to build off of. Just we always want more.
Well, we move on to Saturday, a 4-3 win in overtime. Power play went 1 of 6 and an overtime power play goal there. Penalty kill went 3 of 7. Shots on goal 35 to Austin's 28. Banged up a bit, but then Austin played a bunch of affiliate players and so on too. It was an entertaining game, a real track meet. Back and forth kind of thing, especially in the first period particularly. Saturday night, your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think this is that time of year, right? We get in, you get 5 key players not in the lineup, for various reasons, and and like you said, they had a couple of guys out and brought in affiliates to play, so it's just that kind of hockey that you get there, right? And it was, kids obviously working hard, trying to make sure that each team came out with a win. It was a back and forth affair, and I think a couple of the guys that we had out were big parts of our penalty kill, and so it hurt to give up the power play goals that we did, but I thought the guys built and competed, found a way to get the win. I think more importantly for us, ended a bit of a losing streak there. I know some people were getting pretty anxious about it, and I think it's always good to go into the start of a playoffs series with a winning game behind you and some positive vibe and positive thought there. Yeah. So that was good.
Well, and I'll have a player on in a little bit, and I'll ask him the same question. But what do you think? What do you feel like the mood is when you end up with that loss Friday? You go into Saturday's game, and like you said, there's pride on the line. There's a lot on the line. You want to put on a good show and for the fans that fill the OD each night. All of these things combined, but ultimately the game didn't have the outcome of the game really didn't have an impact on anything. It would be easy to look past a game like that. I don't feel like that happened, but as a whole, what do you feel like the mood was, and what was your message to the team? I
think only people who've not played the game would think about looking past a game like that, right? I think the guys these kids come in, they work hard, they compete every night, they compete, when they come in for practices during the week and stuff. So this is a group that I think is not mentally disengaged and sort of cavalier about games. So, I think the guys understood what we had going into Saturday night's game was we'd lost 4 in a row, and we didn't want to get into a fifth. I mean, we didn't want to get to a fourth. Right. So there's a lot of pride on that, and guys understand what home ice means to us, and they were ready to work for it. And I think the other side is they went, okay, so we're going to start with a bus trip to Austin to get going, but we need to be showing up in town with a positive feel and a positive vibe, and I think they got that.
Excellent. All right. Well, Austin has scored 5 power play goals against the best penalty kill in the league. Second best now.
Unfortunately.
85.2%. And you mentioned it. Some key components missing from the penalty kill. But is that a concern for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's always a concern, right? And it's one of those things. We've worked pretty hard on, even though we don't have the same guys out during games, we have a big crew that we try to work through and train to get ready to kill penalties for us. And I think for them, when you look at kind of the how of some of those, one of the three on Saturday night was off of a rush. Right, when all we had to do was move the puck forward, and we cut it back, turned it over, started a rush. So while it is on the power play, it's a different scenario. And then the other one was the extra attacker goal. 6-on-4 situation, which is tough, and that's always why you hate taking a penalty late in a game like that. You create that bigger than normal, manpower disadvantage, and our bigger thing, I think, mentally for us is not getting into that situation. So, yeah, there's some concern on that, but it's not time to hit the panic button or pack it in or come to some diabolical conclusion that this, that, or the other thing's going on. We have some work to do, and we'll get to it.
On the flip side of that, power play going 1 of 12 on the weekend, and again, Austin's, their kill is no slouch either. I mean, when they have had some success on both ends of their special teams, and statistics being what they are, it's you take that for what it's worth. But nonetheless, power play coming up short on Friday night, 0 of 6, and had some big opportunities there. And again, got one in overtime for the win on Saturday. But you had some chances and quite a few good scoring looks, but unable to find the back of the net there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think when the power play is not going, there's a couple of things to look at. So one is, can you get in the zone and get set up? Yes or no? And I think we did a good job with that. Can you generate possession and generate chances? And I think we did that. And the final part is closing out on those chances, and that's what we need to have guys tighter on. But that you look at that power play goal that we scored on Saturday night to end the game. It was exactly what we had been working on. Guys did what we've been asking and working on, and so it's good proof of do what you're trained, do what you're shown to do. It works. And that's always a positive message to take coming out of a game like that, right? So the other side is sometimes when it gets a little tight, guys feel the pressure and they start trying to do too much rather than simplify. So I thought that was a nice, simple goal that we scored, running to the plan, and hopefully that message resonates with the guys. Excellent.
Well, speaking of messages, you mentioned a late penalty on Saturday night, also a late penalty on Friday night. We talked about discipline. This is a team in Austin that has 1,348 penalty minutes. The league leading, the Wings 894. You knew that there was going to be some exchanges and some things like that. And I know that you talked with the team about, keeping it calm, cool, being smart, and so on. I was thinking about this, and I'm not exactly even sure how to ask it, but really all you can do from a coaching standpoint is explain to them that you need to do this, and then trust that they're going to. Were there some penalties over this weekend that you were kind of like, man, wish we wouldn't have taken that one?
Yeah, more on Friday than Saturday. Yeah. But I mean, sorry, I'm catching myself because we're on the gag rule. I have some definite thoughts and opinions about some of the calls that happened against us this weekend. I'm not really allowed to share that, but let's go have a beer later, and I'll tell you exactly what I think. But that's the challenge. There is we have to deal with some stuff, whether we feel it's appropriate or a soft call or a poorly timed call or inconsistent with the standard that's been established in the game, and all of a sudden it switches. Like, those are the things we have to deal with, and that's hockey at the end of the season. That's playoff hockey.
Yep. Well, folks, standings are as follows. St. Cloud, 85, clinched the division. Then Austin in second with 68 points. Wings in third with 67. Bismarck now in fourth place with 60 points and a game to be played, well, what will be tonight. Minot sitting at 59, so there's a lot on the line there. And from what I've seen and what my math tells me, Bismarck has the tiebreaker. So if they end up winning or losing in overtime, they would then knock out Minot from the playoffs. North Iowa, of course, their season is over with 54 points. Lone Star Brahmas winning the President's Cup with 86 points, and all of the other spots around the league are established. It's just one left in the Central Division, so that's going to be interesting. And a Bismarck team that's been playing fairly well. But, of course, you start the first round, as you mentioned, on the road going to Austin. This is a team that you're 4-6-2 against in the regular season. Throw that number out. Postseason is a whole different thing. But a team that, should this series go to Game 5, it would be 11 of 12 games to close out the season with this same team, which is just crazy to me.
Awesome scheduling. Somebody should get an award.
It was. It's interesting. But that creates challenges in its own right in a lot of different ways. And Austin plays tough in their building. What do you feel like you've got to do?
They do play tough, and I think our series has been a very competitive series, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're down on the record, but like you said, we had this talk this morning with the guys before they went out for their yoga, right? So they call it the second season for a reason. So everyone's at 0-0 to get going. So it's all about who's ready to go and who's ready to play. And so we have some work to do this week, and we have a bus ride to go, and then we get down there and we just have to play our game. But when we play our game, play it the right way, and get on with the full 60, I think we match up very well against them, and we just have to execute. We'll also be a little healthier this weekend too, which will help.
Well, without a doubt, that always helps. Well, and I was thinking back. Wow, what was it? January, I believe it was, when going to Austin and swept them in their building, shutting them out twice in the same weekend. So obviously, when you like you mentioned, when you're playing your game, the good things can happen. So looking forward to that series here this coming weekend, and we'll have more information on that for you folks in just a moment. But Coach, that's about all I've got for you. I do want to mention Cade Nielsen becoming the single-season assist leader with 49, so congrats to him. He's been racking up points and breaking records all season, it seems. So he's had a great career here and has done some really good things. And it was nice to see him get that record on Saturday, and it was also nice to see him throw that one into the net there to end the game on Saturday. I thought it was very appropriate. Yeah, without a doubt. Once again, thanks for your time as always, and best of luck against Austin this weekend. All right, thanks, Jay. All right, folks, we'll continue with our second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and burgers. There's more where this came from. To the greatest of all time.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly, and as usual, a player is joining me. This time it is Captain Kyle Gaffney of Plymouth, Michigan. Kyle, thanks so much for joining me here. A split weekend. I talked to Coach a little about the games, and talked with him a little bit about the mood of the locker room and so on, and what the message was. I wanted to get your perspective too, as captain. What did you feel like the mood was like after that loss on Friday night, when you're going on the road first round? Did you feel like the guys were a little deflated, or was it like, hey, we got to regroup, or what was the mood? Yeah, I'd say it's the same as any loss. Obviously, like that showed us we were going on the road the first weekend in playoffs, but we had a game next day, and we were thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And now we just got to go in Austin and play them tough there. Well, and I was talking with Coach a little about this too, but the fact is, it's different from a player's perspective, but these games with Austin, it's like Groundhog's Day, just the same over and over again, the same routine, everything. Obviously, games are different, but the fact that you're playing the same team so much to close out the regular season and then go into the first round, what does that do for players? I know things get a little chippy and so on, but by the same token, I've noticed that feels like there's more conversation. Like there's people talking and stuff on the ice. I'd be like, what challenges does it bring to a player? As coaches and fans and everything, you start to see different things, but from a player's perspective, it's got to be a little different. Yeah, it is different. We played them last 2 weeks, and definitely getting more familiar with Austin, and obviously we're going to play them in first round, and there was a little more chit chat on the ice. That's just because how many times we played them recently, but yeah, it's a little tough, but kind of good. Don't have to get ready for a new opponent right now, and that's a good point. Yeah, we're familiar with them. So. Yeah. But I don't even notice even the scratch players were like talking with each other and stuff, and I'm going like they're actually like getting to know each other because they're playing so much. And I was mentioning to Coach, should hypothetically this series go to Game 5, 11 of 12 games to close out the series. That's just crazy to me. But you do end up, I would imagine, with some level of frustration and some, people maybe a little shorter tempers and penalties, that after the whistle stuff that's going on, because it's right there in your memory of what happened the game before or last week or whatever. That in itself would present some challenges, I would think, is to try to kind of stay calm, cool, and collected. And there's some guys in this locker room, some guys in their locker room that have a little shorter temper. And as captain, is that something that you kind of address with these guys? Yeah, for sure. They're a bigger team. They like to throw their body around a little, and it's kind of their game. Just kind of try to get under our skin. And just got to keep reminding guys, that's what they're trying to do, and can't let it happen. Yeah. But definitely playing them this many times, they try to figure out who it is, but just got to keep reminding everyone, just don't let it happen. Don't get baited into something. All right, well, away from the weekend, we'll get back to what's upcoming here with Austin. Again, some questions about that. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the 2 years that you've been here as an Aberdeen Wing, and this year as captain. Of course, the regular season winds down and is over, as Coach and I were just talking about. It's a new season, and we'll look forward to playoffs here in just a moment. But I wanted to talk to you about the time in Aberdeen and this is kind of a philosophical question, but do you feel like you've grown at all or changed at all as an Aberdeen Wing and your time here in Aberdeen?
Yeah, 100%. I think so. Just leaving home, just being not on your own. Obviously, we have our billets, and a lot of kind of us growing as people and as teammates. Just kind of the billets have a big part of that. Mm-hmm. And it's been. I can truly say it's been probably the best 2 years of my life, just being here, being in Aberdeen, and just being part of this great organization. It's been awesome.
I was talking with Doobie last week a little bit too about the impact that a community, you become an Aberdonian, like in a way, you're for those 2 years, you spend a lot of time here, whether it's camp in the spring and then, or in the fall and then late into the season, like last year. I mean, it was June where, it just seemed like it was such a long season. You're spending a lot of time in this community. You get to know it. You get to know the people. You get to know, and they get to know you. I would think that, and I've done some moving around in my life, chasing jobs and different things like that, especially early on. But I never really felt like an emotional connection to a community like I feel like you guys would. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, we're a part of Aberdeen now. I mean, a lot of guys come from big cities. I know I'm kind of used to the city, and this Aberdeen doesn't have the buildings, but just the people and the community, they really just they welcome you. And they make sure that you're a part of it, and that's what they've done. It's been great.
It always amazes me, and I know Coach has mentioned this too, that no matter where you go, it seems like, I don't care if it's Walmart, Target, whatever, you're going to see a vehicle with a Wing sticker in the window. You're going to see sweatshirts. You're going to see hats, and this community certainly has embraced this team and you players. Love that. What would you say? Well, let's start with advice. You're moving on. What about advice to a first-year guy? Next year, guy goes to camp, comes to Aberdeen. What advice would you say? Not only as a player, but as a human being. What would you tell them?
It sounds super cliche, obviously, but just gotta stick to the process. Mm-hmm. Whether you get injured or just not in the lineup all the time, you just keep working hard, doing more off-ice stuff if that's what it takes. And on the ice after practice, just stay out, work on what you need to work on, and just stick to the process. I hate saying that, but
it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, cliche isn't cliche when it's fact, or when it's a real thing, and the whole buying in to the team atmosphere, the family atmosphere, and someone that the Wings have tried really hard to build, that's the process, So, how about to a 10-year-old that it's coming to Wings games and watching you guys, and he's working hard in the development program with the Cougars or whatever, or maybe it's not even in Aberdeen, maybe it's somewhere else. What advice would you give a 10-year-old that was ultimately wanting to play juniors and continue on with hockey? Just a level of work, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the things that younger kids, it should be fun. It should be fun. Enjoy the game, but it's definitely something that you need to refine the skills and work hard at too.
Yeah, for sure. It's the biggest thing. It's got to be fun. If it's not fun for you, you're probably in the wrong sport or wrong profession. I mean, I was watching my brothers ever since I can remember growing up, and just getting on the ice and seeing what they were doing. It was always fun for me, and just if it's not fun, it's probably not for you.
Yeah, that passion needs to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're going on to Alaska Fairbanks, and Wings have had a handful there in the locker room up there. I wanted to ask if you've talked with any of those guys. Have they told you anything about what to expect?
Just bring a warm coat.
Can't be much worse than here half the time, it seems like. But
yeah, snow boots. I mean, they travel a lot. I've talked to Matsui a little bit, and they try. He said it's nice to get out of state, but he said everything there is pretty beautiful. I mean, you see the Northern Lights a lot there, and yeah, I'm excited to see just what Alaska is.
I'm surprised at the amount that they travel. Like they're in Arizona, they're in Minneapolis, they're all, and I'm thinking, man, that is a lot of hours logged on a plane, and I would imagine in a lot of senses it's because of the location, that they have to fly that much. But it was when you said that they travel a lot, I thought, yeah, I've kind of followed a few of them and kind of went to see who they're playing or whatever, and go, man, that's a long trek. Yeah. All right, well, like we talked about, Austin, first round. How as players can you kind of go, you know what? Because now I'm going to sound cliche, but we talk about how it's a new season. Throughout the record of the regular season, it doesn't matter what has happened. Now it's everyone 0-0, and coach mentioned that too. How can you guys as players embrace that? What's the best way for players to go, you know what? Because it feels like in the back of my mind, I would still be thinking, well, we only beat them 4 times or whatever. You can't think that way, but it would be tough to, I don't know, flip that switch, so to speak. How does a player do that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess our record shows we haven't had the best of luck against these guys, but playoffs it's honestly just a different animal.
Yeah.
You see 4 seeds being 1 seeds all the time, and I mean, it takes game 5 sometimes, and you just gotta go into every game knowing, or like telling yourself, like, just every shift you gotta can't leave anything on the table. Yeah. And it is just a different animal. You just gotta be ready.
It really is. And as you mentioned, 4 seeds and 1 seeds. I mean, even the Wings and Minot, back and forth a couple of years there where the Wings go in as a 4 seed, knock the 1 seed off, and then the next year, Wings are the 1 seed, 4, so it certainly happens. I mean, even look at last year, as dominating as the Wings were, winning the President's Cup and everything, in an even somewhat shortened season. First round went to game 5, and Minot gave the Wings team everything that they could handle. So you never know, without a doubt. What do you guys, what do you see as some keys from an actual, game standpoint? What do you guys have to do? What's going to be some keys?
Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Just can't let them get under our skin. And I mean, I think last few meetings we were able to test Knapp and Robertson a little more, and I think we gotta continue to do that.
Shots on goal.
Yeah, just work on. We know what we got to work on, and. Yeah, we just gotta be ready.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's really all I've got for you, Kyle. I really appreciate you coming on, though. And we're gonna talk real quick here about the schedule for the playoffs here, folks. It is, of course, playoff season. The Wings and the Bruins will face off in the Central Division semifinals with games starting this weekend in Austin. Puck drops inside Riverside Arena both Friday and Saturday night at 7:05. Fans can watch the away games using their Hockey TV login or at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen, the official home for all Wings away games. The game's audio is broadcast via Hub City Radio's 94.1 The Rock, or you can listen on the Rock app from your mobile device wherever you are. And the rest of the schedule, the Wings will return after this weekend at the Riverside, back to Odie on Friday, April 29th for Game 3 with a 7:15 puck drop. If necessary, Game 4 will take place on Saturday, April 30th at 7:15. And then if there be a Game 5, if there would need to be a Game 5, that would go back to Austin on Monday at 7:35. That is the scheduled time should there need to be a Game 5. If you're thinking already about next season, which I'm sure most people aren't done by any means with this season, but considering season tickets, they are now available. You can email Aaron Smith to snag your seats now. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, Kyle Gaffney, Plymouth, Michigan, our captain. Thanks so much for joining me here on Wings Weekly.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this Wings Weekly.